Have you ever looked at your jeans and noticed this tiny little pocket? Almost every pair of jeans has one, but most people never use it. In fact, many people don't even know why it exists. Welcome to Everyday Secrets, where ordinary things hide extraordinary stories. So why do jeans still have this strange tiny pocket after more than 100 years? Was it made for coins? Matches? Tickets? Or is it just a useless fashion detail that somehow survived? Well, the real answer goes all the way back to the Wild West. And once you hear the story, you'll realize that this tiny pocket is actually a piece of history people still wear every day. No matter what brand of jeans you wear, Levi's, Wrangler, Lee, cheap jeans, expensive jeans, almost all of them have the same tiny pocket, and it's always in the same place, inside the front right pocket, small, narrow, and almost impossible to use with modern smartphones. So naturally, people started guessing. Some thought it was made for coins. Others believed it was for lighters. Some even thought it was only decoration. But the truth is much older than all of those things. Because this tiny pocket was invented before cars, before airplanes, and even before electricity became common. To understand the tiny pocket, we first need to go back to the 1800s. During the California Gold Rush, thousands of workers needed strong clothing. Miners, railroad workers, cowboys, farmers, their clothes ripped constantly while working. So a man named Levi Strauss started making stronger pants using durable denim fabric. And people loved them. But there was one problem. Back then, men often carried pocket watches, small watches attached to chains. And those watches were expensive, very expensive. Workers needed a safe place to protect them while working. So jean makers created a tiny extra pocket specifically for pocket watches. And that's why the tiny pocket was originally called the watch pocket. Today we check time using phones. But in the 1800s, pocket watches were extremely important. People used them everywhere, at work, on trains, in towns. Even small timing mistakes could cause serious problems, especially for railroad workers. But pocket watches were fragile. If workers kept them in large pockets with tools or metal objects, the glass could crack, the mechanism could break. So the tiny pocket protected the watch by keeping it tight and separate from everything else. It was small for a reason. The watch wouldn't move around too much, and the chain could still stay attached safely. For workers in dangerous jobs, that tiny pocket became incredibly useful. But here's the interesting part. Pocket watches disappeared a long time ago. So why didn't the tiny pocket disappear too? The answer is actually simple. People got used to it. Over time, the tiny pocket became part of the classic jeans design, and eventually, people started finding new uses for it. Coins, tickets, rings, USB drives, guitar picks, small keys, even condoms. Different generations used the pocket for different things. And because jeans companies wanted to keep the classic look, they never removed it. At this point, it's no longer just a useful feature. It's part of the identity of jeans themselves. Believe it or not, some people still use the tiny pocket every single day, especially for small items they don't want to lose. Gamers sometimes store tiny adapters there. Musicians carry guitar picks. Some people keep emergency cash inside. Others use it for jewelry. And because the pocket is tighter than normal pockets, small items are less likely to fall out. So even though its original purpose is gone, the pocket still survives because it remains surprisingly practical. And honestly, many people would probably notice if jeans companies suddenly removed it. Because after more than a century, people expect jeans to have that tiny pocket. One of the most interesting things about everyday objects is how old designs survive. Sometimes features continue existing long after their original purpose disappears. And jeans are a perfect example. That tiny pocket exists because workers over 100 years ago needed to protect pocket watches. But today, Millions of people still wear it without knowing the story behind it. It's basically a hidden piece of history stitched into modern clothing. And once you learn that, you start noticing how many everyday things were designed for a completely different world. A world without smartphones, without digital clocks, without modern technology. So next time you wear jeans, look closely at that tiny little pocket. Because it isn't random, it isn't decoration, and it isn't useless. It's a design feature that survived for over 100 years. All because workers once needed a safe place for pocket watches, a tiny reminder of history, hidden in one of the most common pieces of clothing on Earth. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more hidden secrets behind everyday things. Because ordinary objects are often hiding extraordinary stories.